question from the GMAT. So even though this is the SATs, still most of the correct answer choices are going to be grammatically perfect. Got it? So if you have, and L stands for logic, it has to make sense, and S stands for style. In that order, בסדר הזה, בסדר הזה. The correct, what is more important on the writing section? The most important thing is grammar, then logic, then style. Which means, if you see, for example, two answer choices, right? One of them is stylistically flawed but grammatically okay, let's say answer choice B, and the other one is grammatically flawed but stylistically perfect. What would you choose?
B.
B. Why? Because the grammar has to be perfect. Got it? So take a look at this, for example. If I say Roger told Mike that Mike was going to start the next game.
It has no style.
Exactly, perfect. Stylistically, this is very bad because I repeated the same word twice. However, logically, it's good because now I know who's doing what. Got it? So even though both of these sentences are grammatically perfect, so Roger told Mike that he was going to start the next game, or Roger told Mike that Mike was going to start the next game. Both of them are grammatically okay, but logically, only the one that mentions Mike's, or makes sure that we know that the word he refers to one of these bodies, right, either Roger or Mike, only the second sentence is logically correct, yeah.
אם אתה יודע מי מאמן ושחקן, זה אותו דבר כזה?
That's still problematic because even a player can tell the coach, you know, I'm not going to be able to start next game. Or the coach tells the player, you're not starting next game. Got it? Both of them are correct. Yeah. You have to make it clear.
אבל רק השחקן יכול להתחיל את המשחק, לא מאמן.
No. Even a player can tell you, the coach can decide or the player can decide. That is the cause of the ambiguity. If you have, for example, Jane here, right? Then that's a female and that's a male. So obviously the he is going to refer to the male. Got it? But as long as you have two males, no. Even if you know their roles, you don't know for a fact who's going to say that. Who's going to determine that, you know.
אבל אין לי גנרון שהמאמן התחיל את המשחק.
No, but if Roger, exactly, guys, this is a moot point. But if Roger is the coach and Mike is the player, then Roger tells Mike that Mike is not going to start the game. That's one. Or if Roger is the player and Mike is the coach, you can say that Roger, the player, tells Mike, or the coach, that Roger, is not going to be starting the game. Got it? It's confusing. So just make it clear. Go ahead, one last remark, please.
למה? בהתחלה שהסתכלתי, חשבתי שהטעות היא בווז.
Yeah, no.
למה?
What?
למה זה נכון?
Because it's told, and this is was, and this is
אבל
past.
אם יש לך משהו אחד בעבר, אז הפועל הבא יהיה בהווה.
No, absolutely, no, actually.
אותו דבר בעתיד, אז הפועל הבא יהיה בהווה.
No, absolutely not. You're talking about reported.
I am going to give, I will give you.
You're mixing a couple of things. If I say, I will help you, and then you say, yesterday you told me that you would help me. You're talking about reported speech. No, absolutely not. Generally speaking, if you have one tense, you need to maintain that tense. So, אם זה בעבר, תשמרי על העבר.
My reported speech is using.
No, זה לא. אני אלמד אתכם זמנים, תוך 20 דקות אתם יותר לא תעשו טעות בזמנים, אני מבטיח לכם. יש שיטה משובחת.
כן, כאילו צריך לבוא הבייסיק הזה.
כן.
שאלה קטנה שביקרה לי מקודם, who's, לגבי לצורך חיות, עכשיו מאפיין החיה, עדיין זה תופס?
Yeah, that or which, yeah. English-speaking people do not think that animals are, have a soul. They refer to them as it, unless, and this is hilarious to me, unless the dog has a name. If the dog has a name, I kid you not, then it's going to be he or she. But if the dog does not have a name, it's going to be it. Yeah.
Well, because how do you know?
So
if Bex the dog, the way you're saying Bex the dog, in formal English, you can refer to him as a she or a he.
Yeah, but because Whatever. There's
No, I'm drawing a line here. That's it. And going back to this, please. Interrogative pronouns are not that. What is interrogation? Interrogation is all. חקירה, נכון, שאלה. So if you have when, for example, it's like a question, a word that is used in order to ask a question. An anachronism is when something doesn't fit in with a time period. But here's the problem. Remember we talked about the word is? We said that is equal, right? The two things are equal. Now, an anachronism is a noun. That means that this is a noun. However, this is a time. It's not exactly, these two things are not parallel. An anachronism is not when. An anachronism is a thing. Got it? What's that anachronism? I think we spoke about it. Yeah, exactly. משהו שלא מתאים לזמנו. So I remember, and I told you that it can even be in something from the future. I remember, and I give you an example of Gladiator, if I'm not mistaken. But I remember somebody writing about somebody else who arrived at the cafe, put a small projector on the table, and then projected a keyboard on the table, and then did this on the table. And it wrote what it did on the table. Got it? Because it projected the letters. And that was anachronistic. That seems like something from the future. But in fact, it's not. It's actually an Israeli company called Virtual Keyboard. Yeah. So the guy described, in Israel actually. כן?
כן, ניסו להגיד שזה יהיה באייפון 15.
אייפון 17, כן, כן, שקוף, שעשו עם מחשבות טהורות או משהו. כן. So, an anachronism is something, got it? This is a thing and that is a thing. Remember that when refers to time. Where refers to what? Place, exactly. And usually they confuse these two. I'm giving you like good, gold as far as this examination is concerned. Know it, please. When is time and where is a place? Even when one is dieting, you should know. Even when one is dieting, one should. So you need to be consistent. It needs to be, guess what? Parallel. It's the same exact concept. Good. No. את צודקת לחלוטין. כן, בדיוק זה. זה מאוד מאוד מתמטי, ובדרך כלל אנשים שיש להם הבנה כמותית טובה, הם גם טובים בדקדוק. זה מתמטי לחלוטין. או זה מאוד מאוד מקל לחשוב על זה בצורה מתמטית. Okay. Now, did we cover, I did this, it was done by me?
Okay.
Yeah, we did, right? Guess what? I told you, this is usually what happens with my classes. At the beginning, we work very slowly and methodically, and after we understand a certain concept, we can run with it. And that's exactly what's happening here. Pronoun case is basically just the difference between a subjective pronoun and an objective pronoun. Did you do the thing, or was the thing done to you, right? So, I'm sorry that you guys are slightly more bored today, yeah, but I don't want to mix, I do want to mix things up just a little bit today.
Everything is okay.
Yeah, because they don't do that so much, right? You're concentrated on the quantitative.
I know.
Now, remember what we said. We said that in order, how do we analyze a sentence? Come on, stay with me. How do we analyze a sentence? We look for the verb and then we ask ourselves, the doer, exactly. And the doer, that's going to be the subject. Got it? So and everything else, and we also said that we have an object. An object is the one that receives the result of, of the verb, exactly. So, how do you say, Jenna and I were the only two at the meeting, or Jenna and me were the only two at the meeting? Let's analyze it. What is the verb here? What is the verb? I know. That's exactly the thing. Once you know it, then you can review these things very, very quickly. Who were? Jenna. Now, so that means that Jenna and I, that is the verb, and that means that this is going to be a subject. So if it's, how do you say, I was at the meeting or me were at the
I.
meeting? I, obviously. So it has to be yes, so it is okay. Good.
זה אחד הדברים שאני זוכר. זה-
Yeah,
רגע.
yeah.
תפסתי טוב.
Page 532, page 532. כולם לעבור עכשיו לדף הזה.
אני זוכר את זה לפי הקטע עם ה- שאמרת עם הדלת. הייתי זל.
אלעזר, כן, כן.
זה קטע חזק.
כן, כן, לחלוטין. זה...
ואפילו יצא לי לדברים גם החברים.
מה אתה אומר?
מה לך? אנשים שהיו בארצות הברית הרבה זמן.
נכון, ואמרתי לכם. Now, you're not only going to be able to correct people who spend a lot of time in the US, you would be able to correct native English speakers every now and then. Yeah. So take a look at this. So page 532, upper right-hand column. My father struggled to raise my brother and me. What is the verb here? Struggled. Who struggled?
My father.
So that means that my brother and me, that we are going to be the
Object.
objects. Fantastic. So my father raised me or my father raised I?
Me.
Me, of course. So that is why this sentence is also going to be correct. מובן הרציונל?
זה עוד-
אובייקט זה מי
נכון מאוד.
והסובג'קט זה I.
יפה מאוד. I תזכור שזה אני, ומי זה או לי או בי. בשנייה שזוכרים את זה, ההבחנה בעברית מאוד מאוד עוזרת. I זה אני, ומי זה או לי או בי. או אותי במקרה הזה.
רגע.
כן?
האובייקט זה מי והסאבג'קט זה I.
נכון מאוד. אבל נתתי לכם את זה כבר, נכון? I did this, it was done by me, רשום לכם כבר.
מתי?
שיעור ראשון, אם אתה אולי
שיעור שלי.
כן. Now, possessive, reflexive pronoun, not that important. Again, I want you guys to solve about 30% here. Now,
בעמוד 532.
let's, I'm not going to finish here. You guys have a lot of good, hard work here. And if you do these, you guys are going to improve tremendously. But I do want to ask you something in addition. Listen. There are two lessons here. At the beginning, when we started talking about these things, I told you that lessons 10 and 11 are lessons that I want you that are also important. Let's turn to lesson number 10 here. So 520 through 535, just solve 30 to 50% of the question. Now, lesson number 10 and lesson number 11, this is where it becomes slightly tricky. Take a look at lesson number 10, please. Page 548. 548.
אתה יודע מה אני רגילה לראות שעושים ככה? שמישהו בא להראות שהוא מגיש.
גמיש.
למה רק משהו?
כי האוזן, בגלל, לא משנה,
מה
או,
זה,
אני
תגידי?
כל כך גמיש.
גנטית, לא יודעת אם הוא פיתח את זה או לא. בגלל שכאילו הספוס פה, אם הוא גמיש, אז זה גם
הבנתי.
סביר להניח שהספוס שלו.
כן? כן, הבנתי את הקשר, פשוט נפל.
רגע, שנייה.
ככה עשו לנו טסטים שהיינו קטנים לנבחרות.
מה את אומרת?
מה,
לפי
תגידי?
זה שפגעתי.
פשוט תרגישו עם האוזן שלכם פגישה.
אני ממש
מה זה
לא.
אומר?
אני לא יודע מה זה.
מאמן
וואו.
שלי בחד
אני לא סוגר שם מזרחית.
אני תפור.
מישהו יתר.
שברתי פה את העצם הזה.
רגע, איפה את עושה?
נתנו לי פה כדור בקור.
אני לא רואה, תראה אותה.
אני לא מקבל פיש.
ככה, פשוט מקפלת.
טוב.
למדתי משהו חדש היום ממני.
שלי ממש נשאר.
556. Here, I want you guys to do 100% of it, and I'll explain why. So pages 548, 556, I want you guys to solve 100%. Let me explain
זה
why.
100% בהכל.
No, these pages.
זה הכל.
Just not my
הכל נעשה 100%.
No. You're gonna hurt yourself. No. תתפסיק. No, I because you have a lot of work, right? And starting the previous week, I started asking you to solve examinations. I want you to do what I'm asking. If you have more time, go ahead and solve the other drills. But take a look here. Lesson number 10.
מה זה 30 עד 50%? רק את ההתחלה?
לא, תפתרי כל תרגיל שני. כן, לא, כן, לא, כן, לא. בסדר, כל תרגיל שלישי. כן, לא, לא, כן, לא, לא, כן, לא.
כן, כן, לא.
או... נעצור. טוב, what's idioms are between, נכון? Between. Now, on this examination, we have idiomatic errors. Up until now, we're talking about, rules that most native speakers don't know. They usually rely on, on their hearing. The thing is that on this examination, almost everybody who takes this examination is a native English speaker. So your hearing is not a very good tool for assessing what the correct answer choice is, because the questions were engineered to falter 50% of people who are native English speakers.
אז אין לנו טול בכלל.
I'm sorry?
אין לנו את הטול.
No, when we're talking about grammar, something that's purely grammatical, now you have tools that are as good, slightly better than the average American, or by the end of this course. This is the exception. Actually, the idiom errors, shgiot be'bituim, somebody who hasn't even cracked a book in their lives is still probably going to know idioms slightly better than you. Why? Because idioms are non-grammatical. It's not about the rules. It's just about habits of language. Well, exactly. It was basically a slang that just got cemented. הוא פשוט כאילו התקשה והשתייך לשפה. For example, in Germany, you say the plane is on the sky. לא, זו הטמפרטורה הכי סבירה. לא, אז אני אפתח קצת, בסדר? Quiet please.
אתה לא רוצה?
Quiet please. In German, you say the plane is on the sky. In English and in Hebrew, you say the plane is in the sky, which, if you ask me, makes more sense. But forget about it. It doesn't matter. It's about a habit of a language. Got it? These are habits. For example, the house is on fire. You say it in English. Translate it into Hebrew. Habayit? Al esh? That's weird. That's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. In Hebrew, by the way, we have a better expression. Habayit ole ba'esh, which means particles of the house are going up in the flames. Good, much better. Makes much more sense. In Hebrew, for example, you say, what son are you? Ben kama ata? Which is weird. In Hebrew, you say, bat kamat, what daughter are you? Or how much daughter?
How old are you?
Of course he said I just wanted to expose how ridiculous it is when you translate it. In French, by the way, you say quel âge as-tu, which means vous, which means is a gil yeshlach, which means it makes much more sense, right? So this is something I would just want you to do. We can talk about idioms from dusk till dawn, but it's not going to be a substitute to really just dig in and solving as many questions as possible. Got it? Because there is an infinite number of idioms, and I just want you to come across as many idioms as possible. So that's what I'm going to ask you guys to do. Just do everything. The house was on fire, so the fire is put, it's out, it's correct. Take a look here. The pole did not extend out far enough. Now, when you extend, you reach out, exactly. So there's no need for the out. Got it? Idiomatically, you say extend. That's it. Or extended, exactly. There's no need for an additional adjective. Since my injury, it hurts to climb up the stairs. Actually, here they're wrong. Because in English, you can say climb up or climb down. So, and there is a distinction, obviously. It's different muscles do that job and do different tasks. So here they're wrong. This sentence is actually okay. Oh yeah, he was just climbing down the mountain.
Upstairs or downstairs?
I'm sorry?
Traveling upstairs.
Yeah, but-
Yeah, go ahead. Stairs? Climbing? No, I got her climbing down or going downstairs or what's the difference between, a mountain and stairs? You climb.
I'm going upstairs.
Yeah.
Climbing up.
The students were not yet ready to fight against the ruling. No, you simply fight the ruling. got it? אתה נלחם, בעברית אגב אומרים, אתה נלחם בפסיקה. In English you say, אתה נלחם פסיקה. לא, that's exactly the point. אתה נלחם פסיקה, זה מה שרשום כאן. But it sounds good to you. Why? Because you're used to it. Why? Because you heard that idiom before. But it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. In Hebrew you have all these prefixes. כל המילים הקטנות האלה. Yeah, go ahead.
אבל אם אומרים fight against זה נשמע לי הגיוני.
No, you shouldn't. Fight is going against. So it's like he's saying the statements were not yet, the students were not yet ready to go against the ruling.
What if fight for? I can fight for.
Fight for, that's okay. Yeah, so that again, and why does one thing sound okay and the other one not so much? It's idiomatic. It's just the way that it is. So please solve 100% of these, all of these questions.
נראה כיף.
Yeah, actually it is. So for example, I just mentioned it today. So how do you say, I prefer spaghetti to linguine, over linguine, more than linguine?
Over.
Over.
Actually, it's two. And about 50% of native speakers get it wrong. Actually, more than that. About 70%. Susha pasta nusha.
יש...
Prefer goes with, quiet please. Prefer goes with two, just say. You choose something over. Got it? And you like something more than. Got it? And it's very, very confusing. And basically all of these sentences mean the same exact thing. It's just that you have three idioms here.
אז
Prefer to? מה עוד יש to?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
דוגמה אחת.
I choose to. I choose not to do it.
prefer to.
Yeah, prefer goes with two. Why? Because. So how do you say forbidden to or from?
Forbidden.
Two.
You're right. And you know why people get so confused about it? Because you say prohibit from. So Hillary Clinton, I watched a 16 Minutes interview with her, and Hillary Clinton, who is a brilliant, brilliant woman, the Secretary of State. Actually, Bill Clinton is unbelievably smart. And they both said on a couple of different occasions that she's smarter than he is, right? As she said on 60 Minutes, which is a fantastic news show, CBS's 60 Minutes, she said, yeah, I'm forbidden from doing so. No, you're not forbidden from. Forbidden to.
למה אתה זוכר דברים כל כך כאלה?
Because it leaped off, the
למה
screen.
forbidden to? זה
I'm sorry?
Because it bothers you.
Yeah, it does.
כי ככה, כמו שככה זה טוב,
כן, ככה.
forbidden זה טוב.
Yeah, exactly.
prohibit זה
You're forbidden to go out. I prohibit you from going out. It means exactly the same thing. But, one of them goes with to and the other one goes with from. Watch 60 Minutes. You want to improve your, American English? This is like the best, I'm sorry?
זה גם נשמע טוב בעברית, זאת אומרת.
What?
את ההבדל בין forbidden...
How would you translate forbidden? How would you translate prohibit? You would translate it exactly the same way. זו אותה מילה, לאסור. Yeah, that's it. Good, so do all of this, and another thing that I'm asking you guys to do is all of these. So this also includes, I ask you guys to sell 100% all the way through page 556. Why? Because these are diction errors. What is diction?
דיקציה.
דיקציה, הגייה. אז יש פה שגיאות הגייה. I'm reading a book right now, which is not a very good book, Revolve Men's Scientific Rise to Godhood. So the guy is really brilliant, yeah? But the mistake, one mistake that he made was this.
זה פשוט
Now,
לא
both of
צליל.
these words, No, it's just that it sounds so similar that even a person who has, has probably an IQ of about 135 in my opinion.
כן, סביר להניח שגם הבוחנים שלי לא ישימו לב אם אני אעשה את זה, לא?
But on the SATs they check it. This is a mistake that showed up on the SATs. Now, she is right that, you can use part of the knowledge that you gain here also to write more effectively. But you also need to identify their mistakes. And this is something that is included in their mistakes. So here's the deal. Illicit, with an I, is simply illegal, לא חוקי. And to illicit, it's to get, להשיג, לחלוב. לחלוב, להשיג.
להרוויח כאילו?
Exactly. Now, it sounds, this is illicit. I was trying to elicit. It's almost exactly the same thing, but it means something else entirely. Go ahead.
איך אפשר לעשות דיקשנר בכתיבה? זה סתם טעות כאילו. זה סתם בלבול במילה, איך אתה יכול לעשות טעות?
נגיד שמעת את המילה הזאת בהקשר מסוים, אתה מכיר אותה?
For example, it's actually real. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that people usually write based on what they hear, based on their. When you say, I was trying to go there. I was trying to go there. People make that mistake all the time because there, and there, and there, they sound exactly the same thing, but this means they are, there means that place, and there that means that belongs to them.
זה כן שגיאות כתיב.
כן, אלה שגיאות כתיב, אבל שנובעות מכך שהצליל של הדברים, כשהוגים את הדברים, זה נשמע אותם. אני מבין מה אתם אומרים, אתם מדברים בעצם על שגיאות הגייה, זה פשוט, זה שגיאות שנובעות מכך שהדברים נשמעים, שהוגים אותם אותו הדבר. בסדר?
זה כמו שאנשים בעברית מתבלבלים באם
אם ואם, כל הזמן.
אוי, זה
בשנים האחרונות יותר
מי שטועה?
כן, כן. היום גורביץ שאמרתי לך שהוא הכתב, לדעתי כותב הכי טוב בישראל, אף אחד לא, מה? כן, הוא כתב איתותים.
מה זאת אומרת?
גורביץ! איתותים עם א'. לא, איתות עם א', כן, עוד, כאילו לתת עוד.
אולי זה שדרוג של האקדמיה, זה לא יודעת על זה. עוד לא קיבלת את המייל הזה.
לא, זה... סנאפ. bird.
זה מוציא לך ברשימה.
So flaunt and flout and gambit. For example, run the gamut. What's a gamut? Gamut is the entire range. So for example, my TOEFL class ages, the ages run the gamut. It's anything from 16 to 45. The ages run the gamut. זה כל הדבר. לדעת את כל אלה.
אבל זה מילים שצריך ללמוד אז.
כן, כן. וזה ישפר אותך. Even if you're not going to get it right now, even if you're going to make mistakes on the SATs, especially you because you're, quasi-native speaker, that is a different level of English. I promise you that most people taking the examination, even in the US, don't do as thorough a job as we are doing. So if you do this, it's just that your English, at the beginning of the course, even your English is probably about 4, which is really, really good. At the beginning, assuming that the average American is about a 6, right? And probably at the end of the course, you are going to be about a 6. So your English is probably going to be as good at your age as is the English of somebody who's older than you are by about 3 or 4 years who already has an academic degree. It's nice, So, and all of you are probably going to improve by about 2 levels out of 10 levels throughout the course. It's fantastic, just use it. Good. So here you have shot before you're going up. So you have it's there, who's, your. All of these are very, very useful. Please avoid these mistakes and solve all of this. Please remind me.